Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 12, I believe this is, of the Hytale podcast, your number one source for Hytale news, and more news, and podcast news.
I'm here with Myne.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're here to please the average Hytale fan. That's about it.
Yeah, so we got some crazy discussions. We have a lot of viewer questions coming up. If you want to go ask us some viewer questions, make sure you join the Discord link in the description. No, we can't put it in the description yet. We might be able to. It's in the pinned comment.
It's been a couple months. Yeah.
But we have something very important that we want to get to, and it is weapons in Hytale. And they gave us a concept art not too long ago that we want to really dissect.
It's going to be not too long ago. This has been from like 2018.
We're trying to add hope, you know?
There was actually one concept art of like Chork weapons like 2 years ago, but that's like the most recent thing we've gotten in terms of weapons. But we're going to talk about, what is this one? This one's called Weapon Research 1, and then there's Weapon Research 2. I guess we should do 1 first because...
Still 1 at the very first.
Yeah, because starting with 2 is just dumb. But... yeah, let's take a look at it. It'll be on screen for all you YouTube viewers, for all you Spotify viewers. Try to make it up as you go.
Yeah, I would recommend hopping over to the YouTube if you can, because this is going to be a very visually intensive episode, at least for the start of it.
Yes.
So, the first weapon we have is a Chork Chief Cleaver, and it looks very menacing. It looks like it's made out of bronze, copper, one of those two.
Oh, I just smashed my keyboard, now it's changing colors. Don't know what happened there. Weird. It went from white to orange. I've never done that
gamer
before.
lifestyle.
Gamer lifestyle. Yeah, the Chork Chief Cleaver. I mean, I think we've seen this a couple times. You know, my homie Chieftain's just kind of like waving that thing around.
Holding it.
So, like, if you can get it as a weapon, I assume he's going to drop this, right?
Yeah, this seems like I feel like all of these items that we see we can get, because here's my thing, unless it's like some really crazy, like, gigantic item that the player couldn't even hold, any item in the game I think we can use, which is exciting to think about.
No, it's definitely really cool. So that, I guess that sort of goes back to what we were talking about the other week about bosses and like sort of boss drop. So maybe like Duke back in the day, he'll drop his like club or something. We weren't sure before, but now, I mean, going back to this image, I guess it kind of works, I guess you could say.
It would make sense, definitely.
Definitely.
Oh, my
so
ear itches.
Yeah, don't think we'd be the first one to notice that, but still pretty cool to reiterate other things that may have been lost in the past. Speaking of things lost in the past, I always thought this was really cool. The ethereal dagger.
Oh yeah.
Look at it. It just looks cool.
This looks like something you would pay $70 for a Valorant skin.
Really?
This is insane.
So dope. It literally, like, I don't even know what this reminds me of, but it looks like some sort of void magic snake eye weapon.
Definitely a void weapon. Or like a poison weapon even, but this is ethereal, so I don't think it's the poison. I think the green is just
sounds more magic-y than
choice.
Poison, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I really like the handle on it too. Like, I know it's a concept art, but
I love all of these handles. I think who is the concept artist? Do you remember?
I don't remember. No.
Whoever drew these concept artists, fantastic design. I love the art style on these. And then there's one weapon that's my favorite that we'll get onto later. But the ethereal dagger, it looks so crazy. It looks like it wouldn't be solid. Like if you try to swing it, it's just like gas. And it
so what does it do? Like, is it more like a stabbing weapon?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. Or maybe it's has like rubber band properties, and when you swing it and the gas just extends, that'd be like kind of silly.
Have you watched Demon Slayer?
No.
I was gonna say, like, sort of like Mitsuri's weapon. It's sort of like a whip sword. It's kind of strange. I was thinking maybe something like that would be really awesome, but then again, like, if it's windy outside, will it just blow away?
Oh my god, that'd be so funny if you have this ethereal dagger and it just starts raining and it extinguishes. Like, it's this purple flame or something, or this gas, but if you're in rain, it just and now you have your stick that you're holding out.
Exactly.
It does like negative damage to you.
You never know. There could be a small blade in there under the smoke or the gas or whatever that we can't see. And also, it's just a concept art, so like I assume it'll actually be firm when you're hitting stuff with it. Next, let's go next to the toothy barbed club, and I don't know. This sort of looks similar to what Duke has, right? Like, he's got a club.
Yeah, I guess so. I think this is more like a Chork weapon.
Yeah, I think so as well. Or Farron, maybe?
It looks very poorly constructed. No, I feel like Farron's... I think because of the green, it like draws away from the fans.
No, for sure. Yeah.
It looks poorly constructed, and love you Chorks, but I feel like that fits more into your building style.
Yeah, no quality, just damage. And
look, I mean, if this thing does like half my health, I'm not gonna talk about the building quality.
Hey, I'm sure it'll give you a good bleed effect with the teeth bulging out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It'll do damage. Don't get hit by it. That's what I'm telling you.
I hope that's an effect that like certain weapons do. Is like you attack and it like makes you bleed.
So basically, any sword, any dagger, pretty much.
Would that affect the age rating too much? No, that wouldn't. That would still make it teen. Are they aiming for teen? Do you remember? Or is it like?
I'm pretty sure it's meant to be like a child's game. So probably like E for everybody, or even whatever.
It would not be E for everyone. 100% not E for everyone. It would be like the
13 plus.
Peggy 12, I think it's called.
I don't know the ratings. I really have no idea, but I think. I mean, if it's rated R, it's rated R. I doubt that, but
it would never be rated R. But I think there was like discussion of like should it be teen or like would something make it teen? I think I remember something about that. Maybe Noxy talked about it.
And maybe it was Noxy who mentioned it. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's go to the next weapon here. It's the Ruined Runic Sword. A little bit of alliteration right there.
This one's so cool because it has like this bubbly effect. Oh, I'm just like, this makes me think about all the other types of weapons that could have like this particles around it. And I think I'm going to get this wrong. Hope I don't. It's Polina that does a lot of the VFX and particles, correct?
I believe Polina does the VFX, yes.
So I assume she's hard at work making this ruined runic sword make the most beautiful bubbly particles when you hit it, and then whoever's the sound designer, imagine it makes like you hear like bubbles when you swing and pops when you hit. The possibilities are insane, and I hope this isn't okay. Here's the thing, this is not something I hope is in the base game. Well, I do and don't. I hope they don't feel like they need to make these kind of like insane details for the base game.
Yeah.
Because that's not really too important for the game itself. I do hope that in future updates they like make the game feel more immersive like that, but that's something I feel like could put them in like a bit of a development hell where they need to make like every single weapon have like these crazy unique particles and sound effects. Then again, I don't know how hard it is, but I feel like that could just be like a waste of time. But hey, if they already do have it or are working for it, this this is hard to say.
Ruined
runic sword. Yeah, I read it and it's like confusing me.
It doesn't work in my brain, you know.
The idea is super cool, and I hope.
And I wanted to say, like, can you restore a sword like this, or will it just forever be ruined? I think it would be awesome if you could restore this. Like, I don't know. Fix it up, make it like a good runic sword or something like that. And you could use it in battle. Don't know how much damage it'll do, but it looks like a pretty cool, like, warrior sword, I would say.
Yeah. I sure hope so, because it would kind of, like, ruin the point of the weapon, because nobody would ever use a ruined weapon, and it's just, like, empty inventory slots. The only way I could see that is, like, no, I don't see it. Maybe you're like out of weapons and you're in this dungeon and you see a ruined sword and you're like, this will get me through the next 4 hits, and then it's broken again. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how that would fix it.
It'd be really cool if you could just display it as well. Like, I'm sure there's probably more than one of them out there. So maybe, you'll restore one and then put the other one on display as sort of like a trophy. But
this looks like a dungeon weapon. Like you'd be in a dungeon, you'd find that in a chest or something.
Yeah, and look at it. It's sort of looking like a little mossy, little dirty, maybe wet, I guess you could say. It
looks ruined, you could say.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so I assume, like you said, you can find this in like a bottom of a chest, maybe even like in the ocean. If you like open up a treasure chest or something, you see something like that. It'll be really cool. But let's move on to the staffs now, because I really like staffs. I like elemental magic, and we can already see these 3 staffs. One looks like it has a wind crystal, one looks like it has a, water crystal, and one looks like it has an earth crystal.
Like an earthy crystal, yeah.
Yeah, in the trailer, we've seen one with a fire crystal in it, but it looks like the one with that little gold staff over there. So, I assume you can probably put any sort of crystal in a staff, but what do you think?
Ooh, that'd be super cool if you could, like, trade out the crystals and keep the design, because I think that'd be a super cool thing. if you really love the design of this like wind staff, it looks super elegant. It looks posh.
Looks
but you
pretty
don't
fair.
Like, you don't like the wind element in your playstyle. Maybe you already have too many wind things, and you need like a fire thing to help beat whatever fire's good against. But you really want to keep the style, you just trade out the crystal. That'd be a super cool concept. I will say I think it's kind of unrealistic to think that. I don't think that's going to be a thing in the game, but like,
how dope would it be?
Fingers crossed, you know?
Fingers crossed. There's like a little magic station where you can pop out the crystal, put in the other one. I think that'll be so sick.
Like
how dope would that be?
Dedicated to that. And then it works for more than just staffs. Oh yes, please make this a mod. Because I don't think this is going to be the main game, I need someone to make a mod of this, please. This would be so dope.
No, literally, like like I was saying, a magic station. Like, yeah, you could do it with the staffs, but what about, like, for example, you can change the fire sword to maybe an ice sword or a water sword or an earth sword.
I love that.
I know. Who's somebody out there? Please make that mod if it's not already in the base game. It'll be really dope.
I can already see it, like building a basement that has like these dungeon magical elements. Just your magic room. And you have like the center of the room is your magic station.
Dude, that'd be so dope. It's sort of like back in Minecraft when all you had was just a bunch of bookshelves and your enchantment table. Except that to the extreme, pretty much. Let's go over to the different types of materials these weapons can be made of now. Because there's quite a few that we know so far. Copper looks like going to be like the worst type of thing. Probably like... let's correlate this to Minecraft. What would copper be? Like gold, probably? Like weakened.
Yeah, I guess so.
Iron,
and then thorium and cobalt. I think cobalt, because it's the highest one we know so far, cobalt looks to be the strongest material in the game.
It looks to be nice. It looks the nicest too, I have to say.
Yeah, dude, the cobalt dagger is probably my favorite weapon we've seen in the game.
Dude, it looks
like
so
in the
dope.
Concept so far. It's so pretty.
It's so curved. Something about it. Something about it looks really cool. But we've also seen other sort of metals in the game as well. We see this like red armor set in a screenshot. Yeah. I don't have it on me right now, but it looks really cool. We've also seen in a lot of Zone 2 screenshots, the sort of like cloud armor that we got a little bit of a storyline of with the postcards that we got. We saw a bow, we saw a staff, I think we saw a sword, I think we saw an axe, I think we even saw armor pieces for it. Looks really cool. Don't know where you can find that. Like, is there a sort of... We call it cloud armor. We don't really know if it's called cloud armor or cloud or whatever. But where do you think we can find those?
The cloud things. That's a very good question. Are we going to get Sky Islands or like...
Zone 5? Right? But it's in Zone 2 though, right? So, I mean, cloud, 2. Wind,
and
I guess
think
that's the correlation there.
Yeah, it has something to do, because Zone 2 is the wind element, it would have to be in Zone 2. Honestly, I'm blanking. I don't know. This is something that they're going to have to show us and kind of teach us, because from all the Zone 2 screenshots we've seen, there's no cloud fortress area, something we can...
There is in a dungeon concept art, like a little island with the wind symbol on it. That's the only thing. That's maybe where you get it from. Don't know how you access it. Don't know where you can get it from. But that is one thing there. There also is wooden armor that we've seen. Very beginner. Maybe like some sort of leather armor or like animal hide armor that probably does nothing. But it is lightweight, so that's pretty cool.
I will say wooden armor sounds really, really uncomfortable to wear.
But we've seen it. Like, we've seen, I think, a little chest piece of it. What other... Am I missing any armors?
I'm trying to think of like all the materials that we have seen. Did we see any leaf?
For Quebecs, I know they have leaf.
Yeah, there's like some leaf stuff. Which
they have like acorn hard hats, I guess you could say.
Which I'm gonna assume is not on the stronger side, but we could be mistaken. Maybe the acorn weapons are the strongest weapons in the game. And you have to kill you have to kill Quebecs to get them. It's a bit dark, but
you never know. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, I assume most people will be rocking with like maybe early game, like the cobalt or iron armor, whatever's maybe like surface mining, maybe even thorium if you get lucky. Don't know where you can find any of these ores, obviously underground, but like how deep will cobalt be? How deep will thorium be? Like, we don't know. We see somebody very early in the trailer mining iron, so I assume it's very easy to find. But I mean, that could have changed by now, pretty much.
Yep. So then we see something very interesting for the dagger, and then there's an arrow pointing down from the copper dagger into a different design of a dagger.
Yes.
What do you think that means?
Well, if you literally go to the right of that screenshot, there's so many different dagger shapes that you can make. I don't know what each design really gives you an ability boost of, pretty much. Like, maybe the sharper ones do a little bit more damage. Maybe the longer ones, I don't know, give you a slight bit more range. Don't really know. But it would be really cool to find out. Or maybe it's just all cosmetic and you're like, I want this looking dagger because it looks dope as shit, man. Like, I don't know.
I think it will just be cosmetic, but I think that's a good thing. Because then it lets everyone have their own unique style or look. I also think in terms of balancing and like making stats for all of these individual weapons is going to be very difficult, because not only do you have to make like 10 different stats for copper, but then you have to do that for every single type of material. 10 different stats for iron, thorium, cobalt. So I think it's definitely going to be just cosmetic, which we're not going to talk about the realism of a sharp knife versus like a pointy one versus like a round one. There's magic in this game. Let's not worry about realism
and don't forget, you can throw daggers like we've seen that pigeon do. So I assume that bottom one, on the right at the bottom, it says other shapes, looks like a little triangle. I think that's what would be a really cool throwing dagger compared to maybe other ones that are in that image. But either way, I would love to throw these daggers. I think they'll be really cool. Mobility with these daggers is going to be really quick as well, like we saw in this one fight scene. Everything about it's so cool. I love daggers. I want to master them. Sick. Such a dope weapon.
Then we move on to wands. So we have 3 wands shown. We have a wooden wand. We have 2 icy ones. One's more like a crystal, and one's like definitely an icy one because we see the particles around it.
The particle one sort of looks like the same one, but just like shattered, doesn't it? Like a little different.
Yeah, a little bit. They look similar, but one looks more refined. One looks more wooden.
Yeah. It's really hard to say about these. Like, have we ever seen a wand in combat at all?
No, and that begs the question, what do you think the difference between wands and staffs are going to be? Because we know for a fact the staffs throw out, like, for example, the fireball that we've seen in the clip that you've played more than 100 times in your videos.
Yep, I have played them because we got to see. But I don't know, maybe staffs just shoot out the straight element themselves, and wands can maybe shoot out like a combination of them. They can make spells. Maybe they can... this was another concept art. Maybe they have like sub-elements, so maybe they can mix 2 elements together. So you put fire and, I don't know, some other element like earth together, and you make like lava or something. Shoot out lava. That'll be dope.
That, or imagine you actually had to cast spells with wands. So with staffs, you just attack and do that. But with staffs, you have to give like inputs, and it casts different spells, and you can learn different spells. Think about how cool that would be.
Well, we also saw in the skeleton battle video where the guy kills the skeleton with a book, and then after he was like, using the book and flipping through the pages and then throwing spells at the other skeleton.
Oh yeah, so we have now 3 different types of magical weapons, spell weapons.
Don't forget about the fire sword and everything like that too, like elemental weapons like that.
Right, but I count that more as a sword because you're gonna be just hitting them. This is like specifically casting spells. So we have 3 types of weapons that cast spells. The question is, how are they going to be differentiating from each other? And it's going to be interesting. But I guess the same question would kind of be for how does a club versus a cleaver versus a dagger and a sword differentiate? It's just different types of attacks. So
and we'll get onto that later.
Slow or fast.
Yeah, and we already know that as well. Like we saw in a video of attack speeds with weapons, and like the amount of the way they swing it basically is like the air sounds like the air movement, and like daggers and swords, they're like very high pitched, but then you have like a big ass club and it's very deep. So it's really cool, and I'm sure the knockback will be different with a lot of them as well. But let's move on to the weapons research.
Let's move on. And if you thought the first one is crazy, there's so much to look at here.
And this is back in 2018, dude. There's probably so many more in this game now. If Hytale wants to update this and make a weapons research 3, by all means, please go ahead.
There's so much I want from them.
Oh, I know. And I mean, we were just talking about wands, so let's go to the bottom left, because
let's stick to wands, because these look crazy.
And they all look elemental and awesome, and
these look very swampy in my opinion. These look like they could come from like some frog king.
what's it called? The Fence Stalker Queen or something would be really dope.
Maybe.
You never know. I mean, we don't predict many things on this podcast, but you never know. There could be a Fence Stalker Queen.
Or maybe that's confirmed. We have a leak and we're leaking it without saying we're leaking it.
Yeah, exactly. We have the beta. Yep.
Yeah, so those look very, very Zone 1-y. Those look very swampy. Those look very froggy, fence stalkery.
Yes.
They look like they could poison you. That's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah, and they don't look very strong. It looks like you can just snap them in half with your fingers, pretty much.
Yeah. They don't have a high durability.
No. All right, what do you want to go to next?
Let's go to the right side. These 4 different cleavers, axes, I don't know what you call them, but they're big, they're mighty, and they look dangerous.
They do look dangerous. Like, they're looking scary, and sort of like the demonic axe, I guess you could see, that we talked about before, but they're big.
Now, they look big, but they also could be one-handed, and imagine dual-wielding axes. Think about how cool that would look.
That would be really cool. That would be really dope. It looks like, I don't even know how you can say this, but it looks like they're held together with like a plate or a little like bolt of copper, because it looks like a different color. So it'd be cool if you can use 2 different metals to like create different weapons, which is really dope.
That'd be interesting. Now, I have a question, and this is really random. Do you think battle axes are going to be able to chop down trees faster?
Maybe.
Or not as fast as like industrial axes, but better than other weapons?
I guess you could say that they are axes, right? Like, you hit it.
That would be a really bad game design. I'm calling you out, whoever is in charge of weapon break damage. I don't know whose role that would be. If battle axes don't chop down trees, that's going to be embarrassing.
I think they will.
It would definitely break their durability super fast, because they're obviously not made for that. Mm-hmm. But I do want to see that.
Well, you can see in this image, there is like the first one, like the closest to the left. It looks like an actual. Looks basically like the closest to an axe.
Lumberjack axe, yeah.
Looks like a lumberjack axe. But then the next 3, like, they get bigger and bigger with their blade, and the last one's like a curved blade, basically like a war axe. So will they do more damage? Will they chop trees faster? We don't really know. And how much damage will the little battle axe do? And behind it, on the back of it, it has a point, so you can maybe do like a reverse hit with it too.
Ooh, like boom, like that or something.
Yeah, something like that would be so dope.
So we'll just keep on moving to the right side. We have 2 clubs.
Clubs, yes.
Not
probably going to do a lot of damage.
But they're going to do a lot of damage and cause bleeding effect. Once again, I hope the bleeding effect is in. It's going to be really fucking annoying. Like, I'm going to ask for it, and then you're going to see a rage compilation of me just dying.
Why am I bleeding? Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get like band-aids, put them on. So the first one, the closest one to the left, you think it's a one-handed one? Or, because I think the second one might be two-handed. It looks
the second one's definitely two-handed. The first one looks one-handed.
It does, but they're also
it
not
looks
that
like
big.
You could hold a shield and hold it like that.
It's so awesome. That's such a cool mechanic. And I don't know how heavy these are going to be, how fast they're going to swing, but it just looks so awesome. And then moving more over to the right, they have just a bunch
more
of
axes, but we have a double-sided axe now, and this is kind of
exciting.
Double
one. Good luck.
Good
luck fighting these.
Those are ones you could spin with. Is that actually one? Hold on. What weapon was in the spinning clip? Was that a sword?
The spinning clip?
Where it was like Buddha Cat going through that demo of him.
I can't remember. But the axes look so dope. I think it might be a dual axe actually.
It was a club. He used a club for that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. And then keep going over. There's like more looking war axes. I guess you could really are these going to be different type of craftable or customizable? Don't really know.
They look craftable, but I don't think there's much to talk about them. They look very generic.
It looks like
we see some in-game versions.
Looks like they do rust.
Oh yeah. Oh, they show that right there. Yeah, they show.
Or actually, let me cut you off there. More to the right, it says Player's Iron Sword. Then you have the regular iron sword beside it, and then to the right of that, it says skeleton version. If you can zoom in on that.
I see it. Yeah. It didn't show on Discord, but I opened the image and it says.
If you open up on your phone, it looks
elegant decoration, longer handle, bronze symbols. Ooh. Different blade shape.
So bronze, another type of material. Another material, bronze.
So this is an iron sword with bronze symbols. So that does confirm that you can customize your sword with different types of elements ores, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, you basically give it like cool looking enhancements, which is awesome.
So the skeleton version kind of goes back to the ruined runic sword. Maybe the ruined runic sword is like a skeleton version per se, and that's not something you can fix, because I don't think you can fix a skeleton version of a sword. It's just something skeletons drop that have similar stats, just very low durability.
Yeah, and it looks rusted. Like it doesn't even have the little bottom part of the sword. I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah,
the knob at the end of it. Like yeah, I'm sure they probably do good damage, but they're destroyed. All right, let's move up. We have these like copper, gold-looking weapons all around.
Cobalt is blue.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, so this would be the copper ones. We see once again the 2 clubs. This is the second time we see them. We talked about them just now.
They're the same ones too, actually.
These are now copper.
Oh, versions. I never noticed that before.
So these are upgradable clubs. We have them in the stone wooden version, and now we have them in the cobalt version. So these 2 weapons are something you can expect to see from every single ore type.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can see them from thorium, and you can probably get them from copper as well, which is or in cobalt, which is dope. I'd love to see that, and I'm sure you can get axes, pickaxes, swords, and whatever the heck, armor, and all of those different like metals as well. Maybe even bronze, like we saw before. We're just talking about.
Yep. So yeah, and then we have another like giant club. That's definitely a 2-handed weapon.
Oh,
we have
100%.
A long sword and a regular sword. Long sword's interesting. This is also a 2-handed weapon.
Yeah, you don't really see many games really get into long swords because it's kind of a hard mechanic to do because they have so much range, but they're really slow, and most people would prefer like a dagger or just a regular sword. I think
the difference between long swords is that you have cleavers, and they pretty much have the same characteristics except they're fatter. So I think the only difference between this long sword and the cleaver is going to be less damage but faster.
Yeah, and that's for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, and then under that you have another sword, just a basic looking sword if you ask me.
Yep. Then to the left we have 3 more types of sword variations in like a stony iron format. There's not
looks
too
like
much
a
interesting
black
to
iron.
talk about.
Looks a lot darker than regular iron, but it could just be iron.
One of them has like a red string around it, so you could maybe even use that for customization. There's a lot. We're going through these, and there's so much customization options that are available for your weapon, so you can really make your custom sword be unique to pretty much everyone else, which is something super cool, because in Minecraft everyone has a diamond sword, everyone has an enchanted diamond sword.
Yeah,
this is nether right now.
Basically, the only way to change is texture packs.
Yeah,
so, and you can. I was gonna say, you can see in these like just say you want one of the 3. I'm sure all the stats are probably gonna be fairly similar. Like I guess the
probably the same. These are like the different weapon shapes.
Yeah, like the cutlass looking one, I guess you could say is more like a piratey sword. So just say you're doing like a pirate theme thing, like yeah, you can use that one. If you want to do more of a fantasy theme thing, maybe you go for the first sword on the right because it sort of looks more like a fantasy-esque sword. Or you just want to play default Hytale, you go for the one in the middle.
Yep. Then we move to the left, also very uninteresting in my opinion. We just have more axes. We've seen a lot of axes.
There's a lot of axes. There's a lot of customization with these axes in Hytale.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, the one in the middle, there's one like has a little leaf on top. It sort of looks like a Quebec axe. I think that's really cool. There's a small one at the bottom. Another baby axe. I don't know what you want to call it, but
baby's first axe.
Yeah. Baby's first axe. This is what Quebecs go through. They learn how to not cut themselves with axes. That's what Quebecs do.
Then to the left we have ding 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 more axes, but I think
there's a gold looking one here.
The interesting one is the golden one.
Yeah, that one looks really cool actually.
It looks super pretty. It reminds me of like a Viking-esque theme.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Obviously, it looks chipped as heck, and I'm sure it doesn't have very high durability because it's gold, and we know gold is quite a weak material.
It's very malleable.
Yes, exactly. And I remember back in Minecraft, like, yeah, gold was like never good, but you wear gold because
it was good. It just
nice.
Doesn't have durability.
Yeah, it looked good, that's for sure.
The tools were super fast.
Yeah, but they broke in like 10 hits.
They also broke very fast. Yeah. Moving up, we have more stone stuff. I think we're just gonna skip all that, but we have shields, and that's something
there's a spear. There's a spear. And also that club again. The club again.
They put the same image of the club.
Right? Is it? Yeah, they did actually. Exact same one.
Why?
It's the same one as the one at the bottom. Weird.
Why did they do that?
It could be a different material. I don't know.
No, there's like a slight difference. Oh my god, there's like the most minuscule difference. If you look at like the iron bands, the 2 iron bands.
I see it.
The bottom one has 2 knobs. The top one is 1 knob.
Wow.
The amount of detail.
That's
like
incredible.
I said, you can customize to your liking. That's insane.
That is crazy. That little sword beside it looks very basic. Like, it's just long and it has a little thing at the end. Let's get to the shield, because I think that's probably the coolest thing in this little area over here. Besides the daggers, everybody likes looking at daggers, but the shields look awesome.
And there's some cool things to think about. There's different shield shapes. There's different shield, what's the word? Materials.
Yeah.
So you will be able to upgrade your shield and have different strengths to it. This is going to be more advanced than, say, Minecraft, where you only have your iron shield. Now you will be able to have your wooden shield, your stone shield, your copper shield, your cobalt shield.
We've seen cobalt shields already, and they look dope.
Now, but in these ones, do you think there will be elemental shields or even shields as weapons? So you like shield bash, you like emit elements from.
You think we'll have like a little spear at the end of it, and you can push it forward?
Or imagine like a Captain America style shield where you can throw it like
that boy. That'd be dope. That'll be dope. And you can see in these ones, like, these are sort of front and back of the shields. They all look a little bit different. The gold one has, like, you put your arm in it, and you can, I guess it has the thing where you can push forward, right? But then the like stonish or iron looking one, I guess it's just sort of, you put your arm in it, and you just sort of hold it there. So, like, it doesn't look like there's, like, something you can hold to push forward in that stone one, but in the gold one, yeah, it looks like there is, which is really dope, and I like looking at things like that. And just, like you said, the little details look really cool.
Yeah, most definitely. Now we get to some unique items, and that would be, let's talk about the blue shield. What even is that?
Is it a shield? I don't know.
It's a blue disc-looking thing, and my only guess can be it's a shield.
There's like there's 6 little dots on it. Don't know what that means at all. And if anybody knows... I think
that's just like aesthetic.
Yeah, probably. Wouldn't be surprised. Maybe in the game it means something as well, like you don't really know. But it just looks like a rundown shield, maybe a little hat. I don't know.
Yeah, we have now every single time I look at it, it looks like this is a goblin toy.
Which one? Oh,
like
the little plushie
animal.
Yeah, the plushie.
Yeah, it looks like a plushie. Do you think it is a plushie, or do you think it's a goblin holding just literally a log?
I think it's just got goblin holding a log, which is kind of funny. Seems like very, very basic beginner sort of stuff here.
Do you think humans will be able to use a log as a weapon, or is this a goblin only thing?
Maybe. Like, maybe if you could pick it up and put it... If you have it in your hand, it'll do, like, 2 damage to whacking somebody with it. That'll be cool. Like, maybe very beginner self-defense mechanism, you could say?
Possibly.
Yeah. And then, let's go up from there. You have a little log with blades on it.
It looks like a barbed wire log.
Yeah, barbed wire log. Weird. Probably early on, basic thing.
With very handmade spear.
Yes, it's a spear and wrapped, and then there's like a little blade.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very strong, let me tell you. Durability probably up like 7.
Then we have one of the coolest items, a hammer. And I think
it's a barrel hammer.
It's a barrel hammer, and I hope we get to...
I want to use this.
I hope we get to explore more into this, into having hammers. That'd be so dope if we could use hammers. You could, like, one of the charge-up abilities could be, like, smashing the ground and it causes a shockwave.
Yeah.
Free game design idea for you right there.
Thank you. I mean, I think that's already in the game, actually. Some guy jumped off a little cliff and then went on the ground. There's a little blue thing around it. Beside that, looks like a shovel?
Yeah, like an attack shovel.
It's a war shovel. I remember back watching, like, Minecraft UHCs and stuff. I think it was, like, Pizza Hut and his girlfriend or whatever. And I think his girlfriend... Instead of making 2 diamond swords, she made 2 diamond shovels in UHC where diamonds were very scarce. I remember those good old days. And then I think the last thing is like a little sword, cleaver, dagger, really thick piece of stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just there.
And then we get more axes. If you didn't like axes before, you'll love axes now. There's a lot more axes, a lot more materials. This looks like a void material.
It does.
The only interesting one, I think, right here would be the far right one on the bottom. This looks like a void club with purple elements.
Looks so awesome.
Do you think this is an elemental weapon, or do you think it's just like a themed weapon?
I think it's an elemental themed weapon as it's purple with the void. But if you zoom into it, little high pixel nod, it looks like a big H, little curly H on there. I think that's really cool. But other than that, I mean, it just looks
that's a good point out. Yeah, it does have like the
little Hytale H. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
That's fun.
I don't know. Who designed that? Noxy, was that you, buddy? Yeah, it just looks like an axe. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think Noxy designs these weapons.
Hey, you never know. You never know. And they got cool void elements on there. Maybe if you take them out, they're just default axes, and then you could put like a crystal in there, and maybe they light up blue for like wind or something. But either way, still pretty cool. Probably do a lot of damage, and probably don't want to get hit by it. And maybe these elemental ones, like we were seeing with like the demonic axe in a couple podcasts ago, maybe each different element will have its own like effect with like its axe or whatever. Like obviously fire, light things on fire. Lightning, I don't know what that's gonna do. Earth, maybe gives you more like lifesteal or something. Who knows?
We'll never know. But those are all of the weapons from the weapon research. What is your favorite weapon? I'd really love to know. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite weapon is. Maybe some other weapon types that we haven't discussed that are not in here. Boomerangs are something that are popular in games. Bow and arrows we haven't seen a lot about.
Spears, we've seen
crossbows.
Those.
There's so many weapons. Yeah. Let us know down in the comments. And right now we're going to move on to some viewer questions because you guys have been asking a lot. And thank you. Once again, go down in the pinned comment and let us know your questions in the Discord. Mikey Q asks, how do you think crafting will work and how do you think it'll be different from Minecraft? I don't think it will be the grid crafting style from Minecraft. I think...
Well, actually, that's a lot. There is a little bit of... looks like grid crafting in one of the... sort of. Not really fully grid crafting, but if you go back to like the first blog post... let me look that up real quick.
I'm going to it as well.
There is like an image of like not crafting, but like the inventory, like the UI.
Yes, I see it right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a weapon bench, and I think that screenshot, if you can put it on screen, is the best indicator of what crafting will look like because they confirmed it for us. You're gonna have different types of benches or stations for different types of crafting. For example, this workbench. Use the weapon bench to craft a range of melee and ranged weaponry. Knowledge of a new weapon categories and weapons themselves can be found scattered throughout the world. Yep. So you cannot craft a club without knowing how to craft a club, and you'll find that throughout the world.
So you got to find like the blueprints for it, pretty much.
And then that tab will open, and then the different types of weapons will also, you have to kind of learn or find. As we can see in the screenshot, and I guess let's dissect the screenshot. This is a perfect transition. We have the weapon bench. This person knows how to make swords, an axe, a club, a double-sided axe, and a bow. Those are the ones he found, but we know for a fact there's more types of weapons. This player just is maybe in the mid-game, because it looks like he's been able to get a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the crafting will work. We just see the crafting recipe, you have the items, and you click craft. So an iron sword costs 1 iron bar, 1 wood stick, and 2 light leather. And that's how you'll be able to create your iron sword. Then click craft. Craft 10 or craft all. So the difference between that would be, say, if you are making a bunch of stairs, that's probably the easiest one, and you want to use all of your wood to craft stairs, just click craft all to use up all of your wood, craft 10, or just craft 1.
Yeah.
There's some more weapons here that we can kind of dissect. If we look down, there's
wood.
The most interesting one would probably be the first grayed out weapon, which is this very royal looking sword.
It does. It looks like, I don't know, it looks gold, like mixed with gold and thorium. Like 2 green things look like thorium, and then gold is just there. Could just, I mean, I don't know. I think the gold sword is the last one that's not grayed out. But then beside that, don't really know.
Yeah, it looks like a royal or imperial sword. Then another one that sparks my interest that I kind of like from the design of is this purple one. This purple, like, cobalt? Kind of long sword.
So it looks like a void cobalt sword.
It looks like a voidy cobalt sword. We don't know what the element is, because I don't think that's either void or cobalt. It looks it looks new.
It does look new,
but
shiny.
It looks super fast. It looks like it could deal a lot of damage. There's a lot of weapons, and you can see that on the sidebar, the scroll is scrolling down so much. So this person has seen a lot of weapons at the very least.
And those are just straight up swords. Like, that's basic swords right there. And then don't forget, there's daggers, long swords, I don't know, whatever the heck swords else they got there, but there's a lot of them. And I think it'd be really cool if, like, you know how it says light leather? So yeah, maybe you could start off like the default iron sword starts off with light leather. Maybe there's some sort of modification or crafting, other sort of crafting benches that instead of you could take off the light leather and put some different materials on there to make it like a stronger weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And it looks like, as you can see from this crafting list, almost pretty much every weapon you see, you can craft, which is exciting to see.
Which is cool. Also, like you said on the top, there's like there's swords, axes, hammers, war axes, and bows as well. So who knows how many of those there are, but it looks so dope.
Yeah, and let's kind of go through a bit of the inventory. We see that this person has some other types of leather in his inventory. He has 4 swords in his inventory. Sort of axe, two axes, pot, and a golden helmet.
You have 3 of the same sword, but they're all different rarities, which is really cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good question. What do you think crafting rarity will look like?
Probably
because
common.
You see in the inventory, there's different rarities. So if the crafting is always common, then you kind of don't ever want to craft because you just want to find the better ones, right?
Yeah, you probably do just want to find the better ones, but how do you find the better ones? You find them in chests?
Or there's like a skill level, and the higher level you are, the higher rarity you can craft. So at the start of the game, you can't craft a legendary sword.
Yeah.
But once you, say, beat like a certain amount of bosses or find a certain amount of blank, then your crafting knowledge increases it, and you can craft these higher level weapons. Because I don't think it would make sense if you only craft commons. It just wouldn't, especially for a late game.
Especially if you're crafting like a fire sword, like that's basically already an uncommon or even rare weapon. But I want to take a look at hotbar number 9, just above that. You see above it, there's a common axe, and then the one right above the number 9 looks like a legendary version of that axe.
If that's the color for legendary, it's gonna be kind of disappointing. I don't know. It looks like brown, but
it does look like it looks yellow, right? But if we go back to the other one, I'm pretty sure that weapons one did have legendary was that golden color. So
so he has a legendary work hammer and a regular work hammer, which is interesting. I could not tell you what the difference is. My only guess is durability for these kind of weapons.
Maybe damage as well. It's just it maybe has like the higher peak damage, but I don't know.
Yeah, and we'll kind of like go over the rest of the inventory fast because there's only really the left side left is Kalos. You see your name right there. You see your avatar. You have 4 different types of armor pieces. You have a helmet, you have gloves, chest piece, and leggings. Then you have 5 different slots. 4 for trinkets or like bands or rings, whatever. And then you have a middle one that we do not know anything about.
Don't know.
Could not tell you what goes into it. That's like a special item, I guess. Maybe like an ability. Maybe. I don't know.
It looks like there's 4 things you could put on it. I don't know. It looks like a big X with 4 diamonds on it. I don't know. It looks like a baseball diamond.
Yeah, we can speculate all we want, but I don't think it's going to bring us anywhere because it's a seemingly random logo.
Yeah.
Then we see our health, our defense. We have different attack stats for different weapons.
Yep.
Everything's at 100, but we see that I assume because he's using a green, so a common sword, that sword is giving him plus 15 attack.
I see. Interesting. Nice. Yep. I never thought of that. Cool.
Then we see health buffs, and then this like blue spirally wind looking thing is 1 of 1. I could not tell you what that is for.
Probably magic. I don't really know.
Yeah, maybe
experience. I don't know. Could be hockey. That beats me.
It could be anything. But I don't think we've gotten any information about that. So that's crafting explained to you in detail. Now you know everything you need about crafting. I'm sure there will be different types of tool benches for different types of crafting. Now the question is, are you going to have to be carrying around these different tool benches everywhere you go if you want to craft new stuff? That's going to be interesting. What about regular items? We are seeing the regular inventory for weapons, so it could be that basic crafting is in your regular inventory, but if you want to do more advanced crafting like weapons, like armor and all of that, then you do need these special workbenches.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get on to the next viewer question.
All right. Vidi, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I hope that's correct. Will Hytale come to Steam and easily accessible to the Steam Deck? Also Hytale on Switch. It's nice to sit in bed and play Hytale because Minecraft Survival is a college experience, in my opinion.
Can I answer this one in a nutshell?
Go ahead.
No. There we go. It will not be on Steam, will not be on the Steam Deck. It's Riot. It'll be probably on a Riot Games launcher or its own launcher.
Yeah, we discussed the launcher question. Now, to be fair, this is an older question. So it is very fair that we go over this again. Name a single Riot game on the Steam game. No, it won't. Riot has rights with Epic Games, so we could see it on the Epic Games launcher. We see Valorant and League of Legends on there, and I believe their other games are on there too. So that's the answer for that. So it will not be on the Steam Deck. However, Steam Deck has Windows. It is just a Windows machine, so you can probably find a way to download it like that and still play it on your Steam Deck. I mean, you can play Switch games on your Steam Deck for sake. So yeah, you will definitely still be able to play it on the Steam Deck, but it won't be on Steam. If it's going to be on the Switch, we don't know. It would be very beneficial if it's on the Switch.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's what we know so far. Next question is from Vid again. How will the mods be accessible? Will all the mods download through the launcher? I recommend you watch, if you haven't seen our last episode with Dunes, he kind of goes through exactly what we think mods will look like, especially through a server perspective. So definitely recommend to watch that. It looks like Tim had the same question. So once again, Tim, Radoon's episode, highly recommend.
Yes.
Jimmy DeFish, seen your name pop up a bit. What weapons would you like to see in the game other than the ones already revealed? Personally, I would think like a boomerang or something like brass knuckles would be cool. Ooh, that's something I never thought about. Brass knuckles is very cool. What about you? What kind of weapons do you want to see?
I want to see like a lightsaber or something, but that's quite unrealistic. So I don't know, just some sort of cool like swords or something like that. Beats me. I don't know. Everything I kind of want's already in the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of weapons right now, and I really can't think of anything. Just things fun. Oh, maybe like some movement weapons. I love anything you can do movement with. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like
that's a very broad answer, but movement weapons.
Yes.
Jimmy follows up. Do you guys think there will be a skill tree system in Hytale, similar to that of Diablo or Borderlands 2?
I don't really think so. Like,
I don't think it fits the game personally.
No, like I know for a lot of games, like for skill trees, right, it takes like experience, and once you get enough, you sort of like level it up the way you want to. But I don't know, I think Hytale is not gonna have sort of like some linear path towards that way.
Yeah, and I mean, the devs have already said they don't want to have something like that. I don't think they specifically said skill tree. I don't remember that because it's been so long ago. But they said the way of progression is through tools. So you get a new tool, and that's how you progress. And I think skill trees kind of take away from that. They don't take away from it. I take that back because a lot of MMOs also work like that. The higher you get, I don't know. I don't know what kind of stuff you would lock behind a skill tree. It would definitely be like an interesting discussion to go like more in depth about and like really think about it.
I think it could work if they do it with like the magic system, like different sort of spells leading up to other spells.
Like a magic skill tree. Okay, yeah. So we can go like more specific into that. I don't think there's going to be a general skill tree.
Yeah, you're not going to like learn like swords, then learn long swords, then learn daggers, right? Nothing like that.
Yeah, but I think certain like spells could definitely be within like this skill tree, tech tree, and it could be like within your book. So we know the book has different pages. You could unlock like different types of magic stuff and kind of customize your book. Ooh, that'd be super cool.
It would be really cool
if it locks in, and this book is like the specific type of magic attack, and then you get another one. You just go like one separate branch, and you have a completely different weapon. That would be a really cool mechanic that involves skill tree and makes it a lot customizable.
Yeah, and like some things they could upgrade, like just say you start off, you unlock the default fireball attack or something like that. Then maybe, for example, the next one forward is, maybe does a little bit more damage. And then after that, maybe you can like throw more.
Maybe it shows 2.
Yeah, it throws 2, exactly. Like things like that, so dope. Love to see something like that. And then maybe once you get to the end, they shoot like 5 of them at the same time and they start tracking your opponents. Like that'd be dope.
My god, I actually really want this now. And the different rarities of the weapons depends on how many skill points you have. So instead of changing like the damage, you change like the progression for the books. Oh my god, I'm getting like
so many. This. Okay, Hytale team.
Come on,
we're throwing you guys ideas here.
Now. Yeah, we should be game devs, really.
Yeah,
we should have. Incredible.
I think we got time for one more question here.
How much or what do you speculate was shown behind the scenes to Riot higher-ups in the GRC event?
Ooh. There are literally infinite possibility of things that could have been shown to them. What was shown, we have absolutely no idea. I assume probably some sort of gameplay demo, maybe something to do with bosses, maybe another trailer, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I could not tell you because I was not there.
I wish I was there.
But I assume they just talked about literally everything. They talked about their progression. They talked about their different like modding capabilities, how their servers are going, how the game in general is going, storyline, all of that. Yeah. And then they also asked for questions. I mean, Riot is there to help them and to advise them. So they probably asked like, hey, what are you guys' thoughts on this? How should we tackle this problem? So
yeah, how can we release Hytale as early as possible? You know, things like that. When can we start the marketing plan and all those different things?
Yeah. So, yeah, the general answer to your question is how much or what do you speculate? I think everything they can. Maybe not everything. Like everything important, every like big detail. They're not going to show like, hey, we added grass variations.
Ooh, 10,000 prefabs. You know, stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap up this episode of the Hytale podcast. Make sure you tune into the next one. We got something very special planned.
Ooh.
All right. See ya.
See you guys.